first of all, welcome back. We're really glad you're here. We're really glad you're here. Something Colin and I are really, really passionate about is understanding people. Okay, and that is why we do things like this. Okay, so what I'd like you to do, if you go to the back of your booklet, and you see this little QR code, if you just scan that, it's going to take you to, if you have a phone, or if not, you just listen, that's fine. But it's going to take you to our Soul Story kind of website. Okay, I'm quite excited about this because I'm creative and I'm okay. If you scan that little QR code, it's going to take you to our Soul Story website. On that website, there's a little button that says our seminars. Okay, so Colin and I are very, very passionate about helping people understand people with biblical wisdom, and that's what Soul Story is about. But if you go onto that little link that says Soul Story website or Soul Story seminars, and as you scroll down, it'll show you a range of seminars that Colin teaches on. Okay, so different topics like, well, this is our Marriage Matters one. Okay, starts the conversation, gets good conversations going, shaped biblically about these topics. Okay, so Marriage Matters, you've got like a family life and parenting one, which is good. Colin goes around to different churches, hosts these seminars, and the idea is that it would be, if your church wanted a seminar like this, Colin would go to your church and host it on a Saturday morning for 3 hours and get a group of people to come to your church, get the conversations started, get these conversations started, conversations that are shaped by biblical wisdom. So another one there, Technology and Wisdom, that's quite a good one, it's a very good one. That's a very recent one that Colin's been teaching on this summer, really, really helpful. Contemplation and emotional well-being. So there's a few different seminars there that he offers that are really, really helpful. I think there's possibly one on sex and relationships coming up, or sexuality, or spirituality and sexuality, things like that are coming in the pipeline. But keep an eye on that. And if any of your churches are looking for these topics to be covered, just get in touch. It's really easy to get in touch through that. One other thing I want to point you out. Well, actually, like the whole thing Colin and I are really passionate about. We talk about dreaming, blue sky thinking. We really want to help you understand people biblically. That's our thing. Okay. And this one is Marriage Matters, but actually, it's just about how male and female relate, isn't it? So whether you're married, whether you're single, this helps you learn how to relate in churches, in relationships, in work. So it's helpful. We're hoping it's helpful in that way for everybody. One other thing I want to highlight. Colin is running through Crosslands, this in-person course. So this is going to be held in Swords Baptist Church on the 30th of September. And it's basically an introduction to theological anthropology. Okay, so again, it's about understanding people. If you're interested in that, again, scan that little QR code. You've got Catherine over in the exhibition area, is that right, Colin? Catherine over on the Crossland stand. So again, ask her a bit more about that as well if you're interested. But there's another understanding people course there. So you're very welcome to have a look at that. Is there anything I have forgotten?
Fabulous.
That means good.
If you've got your booklets, in a second I'd like to take your questions, thoughts, reflections on Michael and Sarah. Our goal, right, is that when we leave here on Sunday morning, Michael and Sarah sorted. Draw a line under, fixed, amazing. Before we get there, if you're on page 7, I'd like to finish working through how we understand some of the differences between men and women, that we can then go back to Michael and Sarah and say, oh my goodness, I see what's happening, and at least spot what's causing some of the dynamics between these two. So if you're on page 7, you'll see at the top the idea that we are created equal and different. And that means the wiring that we have is different, the skills that we have is different, the currency that we see the world through is different. That's what we looked at yesterday. And this morning what we're looking at is that our struggle is different. We will struggle with different relational dynamics and we'll interpret them in different ways. There is a guy called John Gottman. He's one of the guys who has done long-range research on marriage and studied it to see what are some of the trends. One of the things that he says is, okay, give me a couple, I'll sit with them for 5 minutes, and I'll tell you if within 5 years they'll get divorced. That'll scare you. It's like, would you not be terrified to talk to him? And he says, just give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Now, I mean, he said he did it once with a long-range study, and he started these couples and he tracked them through 5 years. I think he got 94% success. Okay? No, however good he is, right? Here's what he said. He said, I'll sit and I'll chat with them for 5 minutes and I'll watch them interact, and I'm looking for 4 things. I'm looking for 4 things, and if they're there, it's bad. And I'm looking for 1 thing, and if it's there, it's good. And he says, I just want to sit. I want to ask them a few questions. I want to see how they interact. I want to see how they bounce off each other. And if these 4 things are there, alarm bells should be ringing. Do you know what the 4 things are? So if you see them on your page 7, he calls them the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Now he's Jewish, so I mean I don't know if he's got as far as Revelation, but it's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and he's saying if I see these in a dynamic between a couple, something is going to change. And what's interesting is 2 of them particularly resonate with fellas, and 2 of them particularly resonate with ladies. And you'll see the blue ones there. Do you know the phrase flooding? If you grew up playing sport, it's when the red mist comes down. Do you know where all reason has gone out the window, and it's simply you drop your sticks and you fight? Do you know the red mist where you're so gone that conversation is over? You are angry, you are livid, you are no longer trying to work stuff out, you're trying to kill. That's flood. And what he's saying is, there's 2 things for fellas that just send us mad. Where actually conversation is now out the window and we are in a fight. And the 2 things that he says is criticism and contempt. Criticism is saying, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. Contempt is, you are wrong. Criticism is what you did was lazy. Contempt is you are lazy. What you did was rude. Contempt is you are rude. And what he says for fellas is, if you want to get into a fight with a fella, not fix things, if you want to get into a fight with a fella, criticize him, give him contempt. I have 3 daughters. You ever seen 3 girls go at each other? Oh my word! They're yapping! And the things that are said! And then, do you know what? They just kind of work it out. And they work through their and they're and it's like there's words flying everywhere, and then all of a sudden they work it out. Have you ever seen fellas fight? You said a couple of words. We take this outside. Now you know that and you've seen that, but now put that in a marriage, where if one of my 3 daughters, they help some fella if they ever marry them, and the fella gets this. The only time he has experienced this means let's take this outside. Now, I need you to understand that the language he speaks is not the same as the language you speak. And so when a girl is trying to fix things and is saying, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, you did this and you shouldn't have done that, the way he interprets that, the only environment he's been in where that happens is where it results in a fist fight. And so when you're trying to fix things, the thing that you are married to, or the thing that you might one day be married to, talks different to you. Now, have you ever seen a fella where he's in that situation where he has been called outside and they have squared up and he walks away? The shame, where he backed down from a fight. But now picture he's in a verbal fight with his wife. And he thinks, I love her so much, I'm going to do the honourable thing and walk away. Do you know what that does to her? Glory blesses. Because do you see on the red horses what drives women mad? When they're trying to fix things. Do you know, he's being an idiot, okay? Let's just tell him he's doing something wrong and fix it. And then all of a sudden, he gets all defensive, like he's defending himself. And then when you keep pushing and saying, no, seriously, you have been an idiot, and then what does he do? He walks away. And you're like, this is not how you fix things. And what she interprets is, I'm so committed to this relationship that I want it to flourish and grow and change and evolve and become this beautiful thing. And there's a problem, and I'm telling him what the problem is, and I'm being super, super clear. And he just doesn't have the maturity to hear it. And then, on top of it all, when I keep going, he just walks away. Now, do you know what's fascinating? Remember that flooding thing? Do you know that flooding thing where you like the red mist comes and you're just like done? For fellas, that sort of confrontational, you're wrong and you did this wrong, gets us going. Do you know what calms us down? When we go for a walk and clear our head. And we think we've done the honourable thing. We've given our space, we've walked away, we've gone and we've cleared our head. The very thing that calms us down triggers her. So get the picture, right? This fellow, she's gone at him to try and fix the problem, and he's like, why is this woman attacking me? Okay, I'll defend myself, that's making it worse. Fine, I'll do the honourable thing, I'll bring shame on myself, and I'll walk away to end the fight, and he calms down. What is happening her? What is happening her while he's calming down? See the red horseman, the apocalypse? She is sitting there stewing of what is wrong with this man. I'm trying to fix it, and he actually walked out of the conversation. And so while he is going for a lovely walk in the park, thinking, I've brought peace and harmony to a chaotic situation. And she is boiling like a cauldron, sitting, waiting for that door to open. And he finally has calmed down. The red mist is gone, the calm has returned, and he opens the door thinking that peace has now been brought back. And what happens when he walks through the door? He nearly loses his life. And do you know what's amazing? You see, for her, she's now back in the game. It's not possible to fix it. That actually inspires her that, okay, he's back, we can fix this, and she starts to, yeah, okay, there's hope, we can fix. What's happening to him? He's gone. The red mist has come, we're back in a fight. And you're triggering each other every time you do it. And what causes one piece, when he walks away and calms down, sends her mad. When she actually gets going and tells him all that's wrong and how we can fix it, she's actually starting to feel better about life and maybe this is fixable, and he is going through the roof of what is wrong. And what you have is this cycle that just spirals. And one of the things that we're hoping is that you can try and understand the person that you are married to. They do not have the same struggles that you have. They have very, very different struggles. Which brings us to the fifth one of conflict resolution. Men and women operate off a slightly different code. They both need love and respect. But one is in the foreground, and for the other, that one is in the back. And ladies, if you want to talk to him, figure out what the respect code looks like. Fellas, if you want to talk to her, figure out what the love code looks like. Because if we don't, we spiral into this thing. And we are experiencing the same thing, but we are interpreting it differently. So if you flick to the next page, you'll see what Emerson describes as the crazy cycle. Where she sees a problem and she thinks she intends to fix it. What he hears is contempt and criticism. And so he defends himself. And when he cannot defend himself, he withdraws. What she interprets is he's too immature to deal with these problems. And so she ups the game. And what happens is you go on this spiral where she thinks she's fixing it. He thinks he's being attacked, so he tries to fix it. She thinks he's making it worse, so she attacks him more. And can you see where it goes? And it gets very, very angry, very, very quickly. The fella that you're married to, the lady that you're married to, the person that you might one day be married to, really is different. And I hope one of the things you can see is, actually, this isn't unique to marriage. If you're working with someone of the opposite sex in your career, if you're in a family with them, if you're in a church with them, they operate differently to you. And if you're going to handle them well, one of the things to do is to figure out, actually, we are not all the same. We are beautifully equal and gloriously different. And not all men are the same, and not all women are the same. And some of you, as you're reading through this, might be thinking, actually, some of the fellows might think, actually, I'm kind of the one that is going at it, and she's actually kind of the one who totally fine. In the same way, if I got you all to arm wrestle, some of you ladies would win. But there's a general pattern among men and women that we are different and we carry different traits. And what I would love now is, I would love to hear your thoughts on Michael and Sarah. I'm going to bounce them out and try and spot where are some of the differences causing the tensions rather than the delights. We're going to try and chew through some of that. We've also got a pile of questions, amazing questions that have come through on the Slido, and we'll try and answer some of those as we go. The first half of this is laying out the problem when we don't understand each other. The second half is trying to work out, well, how do we break out of that cycle? How do we use the wisdom of Scripture, and particularly the Proverbs, to try and figure out how men and women can communicate with each other in a way that doesn't send us mad. Is that okay? But first, I'd love your thoughts on Michael and Sarah, some of the issues that have come up with them. So if you've got your little case studies there, have a look at it, and please bounce thoughts, bounce ideas. Where are you up to? What do you see with the Michael and Sarah stuff? Someone could be brave and ask the first question, and we'll just tear them. Who's got this? Tom.
Reading through it myself, my wife reading through it, we can, I know I'm going to be probably lynched by it. I know I'm going to be probably lynched.
We're bracing ourselves. Go on, Tom.
A little bit here, but say for example, like the man, he's totally different. He's doing what he believes is right. He's providing for his family. He's protecting his family. He's doing what he's wired to do, and the woman has a different set of skills altogether, and she seems to be attacking him all the time, not giving him the due respect, like that. I'm going to bed. Oh, don't break the habit of a lifetime, like that. Go on, she's attacking him. She's not giving him the respect.
Okay, good. Let's grab this, Tom. Oh, now let me ask why. Why is she not?
Different priorities.
Different priorities, yeah?
So she doesn't find love.
Go ahead, Jeff.
She doesn't feel love.
Okay, she doesn't feel love, different priorities. Different. What are some of her expectations?
Spending more time with us.
She wants to
The bigger house.
bigger
The
house.
very start, there was a little
Not spending
sign.
time with him.
There was a funny little comment in there, wasn't there? Of
Yeah.
yeah,
Spending time with it over here?
special time. She
Spend-
wants
spend-
special. She wants to spend time with him. Yeah. Go
With
ahead.
that thing about the house, my wife and I actually saw different things in that
Okay.
thing, in that we saw the wife saying, or I as the man saw the wife saying, oh, we'll have to go for the lesser house, kind of almost putting Michael down in that his business isn't going to get enough.
Yeah.
And yet Annabelle saw it as, no, she's saying, I'll accept a small house because I don't want you to work so hard. So we saw different things
Love
even
that.
in the same,
Love that, isn't it?
same little bit.
And those are two very different things, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give us more, yeah.
I don't think Sarah's wants a big house at all. I think she's just upset with him and trying to find something that will actually get it. So I don't think she cares about the house. But that's the thing that he's passionate about. The whole I'm providing it out and that's what really.
There's two things there. She's upset with him, and she maybe wants to get at him, and she picks that. Hold that thought for her. Why is she upset with him? Like, she loved him enough to marry him and have kids with him. And somewhere along the line, something has changed. Why is she upset?
Single-minded.
Single-minded, yeah?
It's just work is the number one part.
She's upset about his work, yeah? Yeah, David?
She wants him to spend quality time with her.
She does. She wants him to spend quality time.
He thinks he loves his job all day his wife.
Yes. Okay. Push more. Why is she hurt about that?
It's really undervalued and prioritized.
She's feeling undervalued. Good. Good.
She married him, not his provision.
She married him, not his provider. Oh, I like it, yeah? There was something over here, was there?
She wants to be one of his priorities. She wants to be loved. She wants to be up there.
Why does she feel like she's not?
He's given more to work.
Yes?
He's trying to fix
She
it.
doesn't listen. She's like carrying the mental load of the family. So like she's carrying everything around the table.
She sure is. Yeah?
Spend any time with it.
He doesn't spend any time with it, and yet notice when he is there, what happens? Okay?
Very like solution oriented, so when she's talking, she just wants a listening ear, someone to say, yeah, that's something.
He's ready to fix her problems, isn't she? Yeah. Good. Okay.
She's struggling emotionally and she expects to be the person that will make all her dreams.
How did this story start off? Okay. How did Michael handle that? He tried to fix it, didn't he? Did it work? In fact, what happened when he tried to fix it? So what did he do?
Work harder.
It's true. Because he couldn't fix her being upset. He thought, well, what else can I do?
Yeah.
Well, at least I can do this thing.
Yeah.
They both were trying to be serious.
Go ahead, yeah.
They both were trying to be their serious.
Okay. And put those together, right? Does he hate her?
No.
Did he want to help?
Yeah.
Was he utterly useless?
It wasn't until you withdrew.
He didn't know how to handle the depression. What he did know how to do was provide for her. How did she interpret that? When she needed him most, he wasn't there. Where was he? Building the business. Okay? Now I want you to understand how differently they saw that. He's like, my wife's struggling. Tinker with a few things. Oh, that didn't work. Try a few more things. That didn't work. I haven't got a clue what to do here. But what I do know is how to make sure that I'll provide for this family. Is he being a selfish pig?
No.
He's not being a selfish pig. No. He is being a bit clueless.
Yes.
Okay? Now, in life, it matters more why something happens than what happens. Okay? When our kids were young, I had a big thing that I was organising, and I'd said to Tanya, I need you back to take the kids to free me up to get this done, right? And an hour before the event, I got a phone call, and she said, "Colin, I'm not going to make it." I said, "Why?" And she said, "I've got a flat wheel." I said, "No problem, change it." And she's like, I don't know how. I'm like, what do you mean? You've been driving since you were a kid. How can you not know how to change? Oh, and she goes, no problem, I'll do it. Where do you put the jack? Can you put it anywhere underneath the car? No, you can't put it anywhere underneath. There's the two. Okay, don't change it. Call AA. Tell them you've broken down with a flat wheel and you can't change it, and come whenever you can. Okay? Now, she didn't make it on time. It matters why, doesn't it? Like, if she had phoned me up and said, Colin, can't make it, I thought I'd go out for a coffee, and I saw a wee shop that had a sale on, and I just thought I'd swing in, okay? When she finally did get there, was I utterly livid with it? Like, you silly wee tart, come here, it's fine. Figure out how to change the wheel. It's fine. If she had turned up, coffee in hand, sale bag for 50% off from Zara, it would have been a different story, wouldn't it? It's less about the fact that she didn't make it, and it's why. For Sarah, all she knows is that when I needed him most, he wasn't there. And she doesn't know why. She doesn't know why. And I am telling you that marriage will not get sorted until she knows why. And it's not because he was a monster. He saw one view of reality, she saw a different, and they don't know how each other see things. And she will, do you know, have you ever had a problem with a computer and you turn it off and turn it on and boom, it's fixed? Okay? We fellas are a little bit like that. Something wrong with wife. Michael doesn't have a clue what was wrong with her. He knows she wasn't working. He gave her space and provided for her. He came back and she was fixed. And he has moved on. She has not. And in a sense, nor should she. Because if Michael did abandon her when she needed him most, why would she entrust herself to him? If he was a selfish wee rat who saw, my wife needs me, I don't give a hoot, I'm just going to go and do what I want to do, she should be like, what have I married? Is he a monster? And she is going through trying to figure out, when I needed him most, he was in his career. Why? That's what she's asking. I mean, listen, she's asking it all the wrong ways. And she's asking it in a way he doesn't understand what he's even being asked. Did you hear whenever he turned up late? It's hard to leave what you really love. Like the clues are there. But he is like, what is wrong with this woman? Why would you say that? Okay, give us more on Michael and Sarah. Anything else that you notice that jumps out? Go ahead, Joe.
She's quite passive aggressive in her comments.
Yeah, what ways is she passive aggressive?
Just like, well, for example, thanks for finding a great thing to present, and just getting the little jobs in.
This is a terrible way to handle fellas. She's looking for a response. She wants him to say, you're the one I love. She wants him to answer the question, where does she stand? Because see, every time he's late home from work, what is that more evidence of? It's more evidence of her worst fear. Actually, you love your career more than you love me. Okay? And so you can see, like, in so many ways, she just comes across as really rude. But she's trying to provoke a response from him. Tell me it's not true. Tell me you do love me. Explain to me why you weren't there when I needed you. Over his head. And so she'll keep picking at him. Okay, give us more. What do you see? Go ahead, Jim.
Where she said, I've been chatting to my friends about her struggles. That's a red rag to a bull to a man. It's like, not only do you think that I'm rubbish, but now you're telling your friends that I'm rubbish.
This is tough. Do you remember on the first day, Tanya said there's a tension between a culture of openness and marriage being a safe place? Yeah. That's real tough. Because let me tell you, Michael and Sarah need help. They will not fix this by themselves. But the way you get help, the way that you get help is important. And she is utterly desperate, and she will talk to anyone who will listen. And what she doesn't know is the last place in the world he will want to go is where the well has been poisoned, where he is walking into a place where people already think he's a failure as a husband. I've had wives come talk to me and say, right, we're going to deal with this. And then I've seen them talk to other people, I'm like, would you stop that? If you have any hope of getting your husband here, stop that. Talk to him, we're going to make a plan, we're going to work this out, but stop telling everyone. You have to tell some. But when women get desperate, they'll tell everyone. And whoever you tell, if there's a pool of people and your husband feels shamed, that's the last place he wants to be. And there is a real tension between a culture of openness and discretion that does not shame each other. And where desperation is kicked in, that's hard. Okay, give us more. What do you see with Michael and Sarah?
Sarah's kind of like looking at everything through a negative lens because of how she feels. So for example, when Michael takes the day off so she can go apply for the job, and he's there making memories with the kids, she just comes home and sees a dirty house and future problems rather than,
Yeah. And I want to hold on to, it's not entirely bad for Sarah to be suspicious of Michael. He might be a monster. She just doesn't know. And she's handling it all wrong. And it's shaping all of the things that she sees. She's struggling to keep up with life, and he's finally taking a day away from his precious career, and he makes life even harder. That's all she sees. And what impact do you think that has on Michael? With the kids?
It's undermined.
It's undermined.
I think it's devastating.
It is devastating.
Just wasn't happy. I do think, and then maybe post a couple of weeks that if she felt that she, should have.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Big comment today, so that you hear that, that you put your kid in conflict, that just that your whole duty as a man is to protect your family. It's not just like, I know nothing about this, like, deal.
Yeah. Is and if I want you to take away one thing about men, okay, they will not continue to put themselves in situations where they are disrespected. Men will spend most of their time where they're respected most. Done. Whether they should or shouldn't, forget about that for a second. Men will spend most of their time where they are respected most. Just sit with that for a second. Men will spend most of their time where they are respected most. And he's taken these kids, and for whatever reason, he hasn't done a super job. Now there's all sorts of things going on. Why does he not know? Okay? All sorts of things that could come up there. But let's take it at face value that he hasn't done a good job. I'm telling you, if you come back and treat him like an idiot, he might do it one more time. He might even offer a third time. But if each time he is treated as if he's stupid, that he's no good, and that he's made a mess, I guarantee you. And it's not that he will make an active decision. It's just that when he's thriving at work and he thinks, do I take a day off work to go into an environment where I'll be treated like an idiot, or do I get a babysitter and stay at work? I'm telling you, whether he should or shouldn't, he will. He will stay at work. Now, remember we said, Sarah, what does she just want? She just wants to spend quality time with him. When he's at home, what happens?
It's not.
Drives him away.
He's the one who's no good. He's the one that bumbles. He's the Homer Simpson. He's the daddy pig. He's the clueless one that just does everything wrong. I'm telling you, that's the last place he will try to make, whether he should or shouldn't. Fellas will spend most of their time where they are most respected. Now that does not mean that you don't talk to him about the eczema and the nap and the mess. It's whether you talk to him with respect or whether you nag him like he's an incompetent child. Okay, give us more with. My goodness, give me the time.
I know. It goes just so quick.
I love page 10. Let me take a few minutes just to rattle through some of these. If we want to try and fix some of this, it's about building a culture where love and respect and wisdom are to the forefront rather than that crazy messed up cycle that you go through. Do you see the page 10, building a culture? The first one on there is love map. That's a lot less exotic than it sounds. Listening versus insight. When Gottman said there's 4 things that he listens for, and if they're there, it's big trouble: the contempt, criticism, defensive,ness, and withdrawal. The one thing that he is looking for is if he sits down and he says, your wife, what's she doing tomorrow? What are her hopes and her fears? Do you know the little details of her life? A map of who your spouse is. Are you interested in the little details? Do you know her? Or actually, I don't know. I don't know who her friends are. I don't know if she's happy in her work. I don't know. He's saying if the love map isn't there, if you don't know how the curves of the land lie in your spouse's life, that's how there's something wrong. You're not talking. Your marriage has probably been so consumed with fighting that you're not actually talking. You're not getting to know them. And particularly for us men, this is hard. because we don't do small talk very well. But actually the small talk is precious talk. And so there needs to be times where you're not talking about the business of family life or anything, but you're just sitting down talking and engaging. Now, did you see Sarah trying to talk to Michael? And what was Michael doing? I want to fix these problems. Line them up, sweetheart. I'll fix them, every one of them for you. And what he's missing is she is trying to connect. She's not trying to fix the situation. She's just trying to connect and have Michael go on this journey with her and get to know each other and get to know their fears, their worries, their hopes and dreams, all these little details of life. And fellas really struggle with this. Yeah, and to the point where when Tanya and I have been apart for a while and Tanya's telling me about her day, like I get the whole thing. And when Tanya when Tanya says, "What did you do today?" Nothing. Actually. Now what I mean is nothing I want to talk about. And trying to learn that actually that chitter-chatter is a bedrock of getting to know each other. However, it goes the other way. So fellas, if you want to, you've got to engage with that. I got to get to know this woman, the little details of life, and I've got to share and create that love map. For ladies, it goes the other way. And if you have a husband, or if you ever marry a husband, and I ring him up and I say, "I've got a problem, and I want your advice." See me and him for life, we're buddies. Mm-hmm. Because I went to him for advice. That's his language. Now you imagine you're sitting on the sofa with this man, and you've got problems. And every time he tries to give you advice, you swipe him. You're not listening to him. What is he hearing? Well, all those other people out there, they ring me up for advice, but see the woman that I love the most, she swipes my advice. She doesn't care. And what he hears is everybody else respects me, but she doesn't. Fellas, you want to get to know her, you got to get to know all the little details and just go on the journey and follow the story and be with her and figure out the 20 characters that have been introduced in one story with no linear progression. Right there! Oh, sorry. Wives, at some point, go to him for advice. I'm telling you, it will mean the world to you. How do we actually fix this? Let's do one more, and then we'll pick this up. Quality time, shoulder to shoulder, face to face. I love this. When women talk, it's nose to nose. It's over a coffee. It's like this. To the point, I remember, I used to do bedtime with my girls, and I would lie on the floor and look at the ceiling, and they would turn and face me. And I remember once when this big paw came, turned my face to her. For the love of, and it's this intense eye to eye and sharing. And for fellas, that's needed. You gotta have that eyeballing of and sit down. We'll talk. We'll have coffee, and we'll chew. For fellas, it's shoulder to shoulder. And then, if I can describe this. Some of my best dates with my wife have been, for me, and probably less for her, shoulder to shoulder. And there's 2 rules.
That's awful.
There's 2 rules. Don't leave, and don't speak. And I know you ladies are thinking, but it's just I'm not doing anything. Your presence is so amazing. Your presence is so amazing that when we want a place of peace, we want you there. Joe, we did a house renovation, and one of my fondest memories, so I would have done a lot of one of my fondest memories was when we had to rake an acre of a field by hand. It's on a lime quarry site on the rocks. And Tanya said, John, I'm going to give you a hand. We spent the whole day in the beating sun.
A whole month.
And all we did felt like it. And all we did was talk about the rocks and the weeds, and we stood shoulder to shoulder, and our hands were blistered, and it was the best date I went on. We didn't speak, we didn't chat, and we just worked side by side, and it was a joy. And when you are relating to the person that you are married to, you've got to learn, do you know what? I'm not used to this nose-to-nose, face-to-face stuff, but I'm going to do it. And I'm not used to this sitting down and being quiet and just working side by side, but I'm going to do it. And those are chances, beautiful chances to connect. I'd love to pick up the next ones tomorrow. Tanya, do you want to... are you closing this down?
I can pray. Just shall I pray?
Well, here, we've got 2 minutes. Let's do the next one then. I thought you were doing it.
You can just all pretend we're from Munster and Ulster. Yeah,
that's true.
Never mind the kids. I was going to say, never mind.
Pretend it's a fire drill. That's what I took from last night. Leadership. Can we do the leadership one? Protect and provide. Baked into for fellas in that relationship is the desire to do that, and it can jar. And sometimes we overprotect and sometimes we underprotect in the eyes of others. I can remember once I took my 3-year-olds to the park with a heap of mummies. It was quite an experience. Because we went to this pond that was no more than a foot deep. You know what's coming! I said to the 3-year-old, when you get to the edge, careful you don't slip. And she went right up to the edge, and I'm telling you, there was half a dozen women that nearly laid an egg. And they went to swoop in, and I said, stop, what are you doing? And they said, what if she falls in? She'll get wet! And she will learn a lesson I cannot teach her with words. When you're on the edge of something, balance matters. Now, if that had been Tanya, and she was swooping in and gathering up this little chick and taking her away and saying, you're not protecting her enough, I'm telling you, I wouldn't be at the park as much. And mums and dads are so different. And see, when the kid is 6 weeks old, mummy is to the fore. She will protect that kid from any danger 3 fields away. She will protect it, right? See, when that kid is not 6 weeks, but 16 years old, and that is still happening, it's really, really ugly. You understand what I mean? Where you've got a 16-year-old kid who's still being married. And one of the things that has to happen is there has to be this little pull and tension between a husband and wife, where the wife is wired to protect that little chick from any possible danger, and the husband and the fathers are there to start pulling and say, the only way that you learn how to get up is by getting knocked down. And mummies really, really struggle with that. And dads can be sidelined so quickly. And there has to be a little bit of a to and fro, where part of protecting this kid is letting them fall into the pond so that they learn balance. And mummies will struggle with that, and daddies will see something different, and daddies often get sidelined. And I'm telling you, you sideline them 3 times, you won't have to sideline them a 4th time. Because they won't put themselves in that position. But sometimes we can be overprotective. I remember standing with a fella, and his wife was here, and it was a real bad ice. And the fella said to his wife, she was going out to see her friends that evening, and he said, you know what, maybe you might want to think about cancelling and go a different day because the ice is so bad. Oh, she shut him down in front of me like it was closing time at a show. Whether he was right or wrong, I knew in that moment he will not step in to protect you again. I mean, he might 2 or 3 times. But if you shut him down like that, particularly in front of me, another man, he will not continue to put himself in that position. If you still want to drive on the ice circuit, go and talk to him and do it privately and work it out and chat to him and respect him, but do not shut him down. If you shut him down, you will not have to keep doing that for the rest of your life, because he simply won't offer. One of the things, could we just do career and then we'll stop? Promise we'll stop. So much of this Michael and Sarah stuff is about career, because she sees it as his mistress. When I needed you, you were at the career bit. It is so important imagine Tanya sees me walking down the street holding hands with a beautiful 18-year-old woman. It matters whether that's my daughter or my mistress, doesn't it? And for him, his career should never be a rival to you. If you allow it to be a rival to you, you're seeing it wrong. But you know what's terrible? That career in the first place for Michael was never a mistress. But she saw it like that. And it became one. In fact, it literally became one. Actually, see if she is rooting for him and sending him out and believing in him and creating an environment of home and respect. He will keep coming back. And that career will be a daughter, not a mistress. And one of the biggest challenges that couples face is for women, they forget about husband and fall in love with the kids. For fellas, they forget about wife and fall in love with the career. And we got a question in the group about what as you're approaching the empty nest season of life. If women have allowed the kids to become the focus and fellas have allowed the career to become the focus, empty nest is going to be a tough time. Actually, if those two things are held together not as rivals, but as children and career, it's a healthier place to be. I'd love to finish, and we'll pick this conversation up tomorrow.
What about, see if we can answer people's questions? If we're not getting to your questions, can you make sure you talk to us before the end of the weekend? Is that okay if we don't get everything answered?
Heavenly Father, thank you for all your goodness. Protect us in our relationship through prayer. In Jesus' name. Amen.